so much for brains. You have never been so stupid. You can say that sort of thing any day of the week. Come on. What? Where we're going? To save the world.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most contentious programmes ever made by CBBC.
And Wood starts us off with an almost inaudible bogey, 0.1.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Living with the Lambs. Our first entry was so controversial, it was cancelled before it was ever produced. It was a planned sitcom, intended to centre on a Chinese family who own a Manchester restaurant. One of the few details shared was that their dad's band was going to be called Walk and Roll. For some reason, CBBC decided to make a show about a marginalised ethnic group and not hire anyone from that demographic to write it.
Oh, you ruined it now! I was trying to be professional!
The scripts were described as regressive and perpetuating, and there was huge public backlash because of it. It's a good job it got cancelled, but a shame they butchered an opportunity to provide positive representation for British East Asians.
There's absolute incompetence. This shouldn't be allowed, should it?
Number 9. Wizards vs Aliens.
And I will smite thee with magic. Makraka!
Russell T Davies helped to create this popular children's sci-fi programme, which was relatively controversial for its portrayal of LGBT characters. It's relatively normal to feature LGBT characters in media now, but in 2012 it was a bit more scandalous. Thankfully, it was a very well handled and positive depiction, and paved the way for more similar representation in children's TV.
Well, it was like I said, her reaction.
Fascinatingly, Luke from the Sarah Jane Adventures was meant to be the first openly gay CBBC character. Unfortunately, the death of Elizabeth Sladen brought an early end to the show, and we never got to see this development.
Me. Benny, that's brilliant.
It's not brilliant. It just is.
Number 8. The Sarah Jane Adventures.
You're always lying about where you've been, what you've been doing. No, Mum, more lies. Always lies.
The Curse of Clyde Langer was an emotional episode, focusing on Clyde being forced into homelessness. This happens because Clyde jokes about a Native American totem pole and is then cursed, making everyone hate him, even his mother.
You can't, can you? You can't, because it's all a trick. You've all been tricked. You, Sarah Jane, Ronnie, everybody. Yeah, I was tricked all right. Life tricked me the day you were born.
The main issue with this episode is its poor depiction of Native American culture. They mention the totem pole was crafted on the Great Plains, built by a tribe that historically didn't make totem poles, and also never lived on the Great Plains. It was unavailable on streaming platforms for years because of this, and the BBC had to edit out the inaccuracies.
My name is Clyde Langer. My name is Clyde Langer.
Number 7. Blue Peter.
Now then, from dinosaurs to monsters of another kind.
This is a particularly old children's show and has had its fair share of controversies. Its first major scandal was in 1998, when it came to light that presenter Richard Bacon had used cocaine and then punched a wall.
But many of you will know that there has been a sad event too. One of the Sunday newspapers reported that Richard Bacon, a Blue Peter presenter, had taken an illegal drug. Richard admits that he has done this and that he very much regrets it.
He was promptly sacked and publicly apologised for his actions. This is probably the show's most famous scandal. Another was their fake competition winner in 2006. They hosted a phone-in competition supporting UNICEF, but they had technical difficulties with the phone lines. Their solution was to ask a child in the studio to pretend to be a winning caller, which the BBC later admitted to doing. They were fined £50,000 by Ofcom for the rigging.
So we have decided that Richard cannot continue to present Blue Peter, and he agrees that that is the right decision. We're all very sorry and upset about this.
Number 6. Prank Patrol.
What makes you think you've got what it takes to join the Prank Patrol?
Because I really need to get my brothers back.
This was originally a Canadian series that inspired a British version. Its format involves kids setting up elaborate pranks to pull on their friends, which usually involves scaring or embarrassing the prank victims. Parents worried it encouraged behaviour that could cross the line into bullying, despite the prank's light-hearted nature.
You've been well and truly pranked. Josh?
There was concern that children could attempt these elaborate stunts without adult supervision, and it could result in unsafe scenarios.
Because I'm quite small, and I'm not sure about this, but I think they might think I'm not very strong and I can't do my moves very well.
It also wasn't educational or morally instructive, which doesn't fit with CBBC's traditional focus. Teachers in schools supposedly reported an increase in student pranks too, with some requesting parents disallow their kids from watching it. Number 5. Horrible Histories.
Tea is not from Britain, ma'am, from India it was brought. Yes, for your copper thousands died and many wars were fought.
This show was hugely popular and critically acclaimed, providing historical education for thousands of children. It's known for its dark humour and focus on the unpleasant aspects of history, like diseases, executions, and torture. Children loved this style, but adults believed it was too graphic or inappropriate.
The cotton's from America and picked by
slaves again.
One of their biggest controversies was using spray tan to play Egyptians, which is close to blackface. Another scandal was their song British Things, which highlights the negative aspects of colonialism, which some believed to be anti-British. Others praised it for the honest approach, and it sparked discussion about how Britain's colonial past should be taught to children, which is usually not at all.
In Britain, they simply cover people up with great mounds of earth.
You know, we should just go there.
Yeah, weather's not so hot, mine.
Number 4. Byker Grove.
When you see your lad, is it a warm tingle down your spine or a wet drip?
This was a gritty British teen drama, with a groundbreakingly realistic portrayal of issues facing young people. It pushed boundaries so much, it regularly caused controversy. These taboo subjects included drug use, homelessness, teen pregnancy, underage drinking, domestic violence, bullying, and mental health issues. For many parents, these were uncomfortable topics for children to be exposed to. For example, in 1994, the character Noddy Fishwick realised he was gay and shared a kiss with another character. This was one of the first gay kisses on children's TV, and it led to massive backlash.
Well, I think you better tell me all about it.
Join the back of the queue.
Overall, it brought an important representation of a working-class community to television, and while the subjects it covered were taboo, they were never unrealistic. Number 3. Grange Hill.
Were you born stupid?
Diana Lowe.
I see. It's something you've developed yourself, is it?
Our next entry is similar to the previous because it portrayed real-life issues faced by teenagers. It followed the lives of students at a comprehensive school and tackled issues like bullying, racism, poverty, and domestic issues. Typically, TV shows avoided these topics and presented an idealized version of childhood. This realistic approach caused massive criticism, even though a lot of children will struggle with these issues anyway.
You were here last year, weren't you?
I wasn't in this school last year.
Oh, well, it must have been your brother then.
My brother doesn't come to this school.
Well, you know you're not allowed here without a teacher, so you just stay here till one comes.
It also portrayed authority figures in a flawed light, challenging the traditional respect your elders message. It also highlighted issues with the British education system, which was a controversial stance according to conservatives. It also discussed racism, causing a stir among people who believe opposing racism to be too politically correct.
You don't deserve the amenities of this place.
Number 2. The Story of Tracy Beaker.
We thought you left us for good this time.
This is my room. Whoever's in it can pack up that scratchy stuff and clear off right now.
No child in the 2000s could avoid Tracy Beaker. It felt like there'd be an episode every half an hour on CBBC. The programme depicts Tracy's life in a care home, or the dumping ground. Some critics believed it was an overly negative depiction of care homes and worried it reinforced negative stereotypes about children in care.
Brother had a dad like that who visited the none at all. Are you crying?
It tackled sensitive themes like adoption and fostering. specifically Tracy's yearning to be adopted and her struggles with abandonment. Nevertheless, the series was praised, since it raised awareness of the challenges faced by children in care.
Great. I have one bright idea and suddenly the dumping ground has got more stars in it than the Milky Way.
Number 1. Dick and Dom in the Bungalow.
Yes, well, can I just say that I'm a vet, so strictly speaking, I shouldn't actually be here. But
This show was wildly popular among the youth for its unconventional, chaotic, and gross sense of humour. Its most famous segment was the Bogies game, where presenters would go into public places, like a library, and then take turns screaming bogies louder and louder.
Bogies.
Clever response from McCourt.
Kids loved this game, but adults hated it, for obvious reasons. There was also backlash from a sketch where presenter Dick McCourt presented to give birth, while buckets of creamy muck were hurled at him. Make Dick Sick was another contentious segment, where viewers had to ring up and tell a gross story. If sufficiently gross, Dick would vomit, and they'd win the challenge. It was also filled with sexual innuendo, causing it to be cancelled.
Bogies!
That was a brave bogey. It's a 4.2. And the crowd getting to their feet, delighted with the audacity.
Were there any shows we missed that you thought were a bit too edgy for children's TV? Tell us in the comments section.
Right, you lot. Let's go and sort ourselves out. Follow me.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.